the country is so negative. And this is what has been happening. There's been a lot of political talk, calling of names and all that. And as we're going to find out in a couple of minutes, the words of the politicking in this country have an effect on the business environment. There are people who now stop investing because they're not very sure how the country is going to go. And this ultimately affects the numbers when it comes to what Mbadi is doing, raising revenue. So there is a challenge, and we'll be having that conversation. I have the opportunity to talk to a gentleman that we had talked to some time back. He was voted as one of the most influential individuals in Africa. He went to Nigeria, was given the award. He's a young person, or he's a business entrepreneur. He's an entrepreneur. He has set up some companies, employed the young people. And we want to find out from him, because this budget, remember last time, the finance bill saw now people of his age going to the streets. We want to see how the business environment is since. And then we have also Matthew Wasonga. Matthew Wasonga is a businessman and a politician. So he's one of the people who've been making noise, the political elite in this country. Let's find out, how do you marry these two? Politics and the economy. What affects what? And is it likely to affect how this country is going to look like in the next 1 year? Welcome very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, Fred.
Let me start with you, Collins. You, from the looks of Collins, is a gentleman who seems like you and the politics, you see it on EBN. How is the business environment now in the country?
Well, thank you, friend, for having me today. It's always a privilege to be on set with you.
Thank you.
And, to just contribute towards the growth of our nation through these kind of discussions. Many people watch them and they're always inspired. So at the moment, I would say that the business environment in the nation is not that good. And the reason is because of what the government has embarked on doing. And they are focusing so much on collecting taxes and not really, enhancing the business environment so that they can, the revenue will come automatically. So I think the idea should not be...
You're saying they're focusing more on taking instead of improving the environment for you to work so that you can have revenue automatically.
Sure.
That's a very interesting... Yeah, go on.
So I think the idea would be, to create a conducive environment for the business to thrive, for the, young entrepreneurs, to go ahead and excel in their businesses. But instead, I've seen that now the focus is more on taxing. And I'm, getting to a point that I'm wondering, what are they taxing? Because there is nothing to be taxed. People don't have that money. The least they have. Then if you tax, you realize that it's counterproductive at the end of the day. Because you'll not end up, you always have an expenditure that is way high than the budget.
Let's take, for instance, I love using examples, real life examples. Sure. Your businesses.
Sure.
You have a number of businesses. One of them is you do shoes.
Yes.
By the way, you are the one who, these are your own design.
This is my design.
Yes. Naona vile Wasonga ameangalia. Naona ni kama tukitoka hapo ukifika pale kwa mlango ngeka viatu zimeenda.
Not really, maybe I'll be the next customer, new customer.
When we talk, I love promoting young people. Alan, Alan, if you hear me talking about Alan is the noisy guy who keeps on. They have a show with Emmanuel, and he's also a very good cameraman. So, Alan, I'd like you to take a shot of these shoes that have been done in Kenya by this young man, so that as we are talking about, Alice, you can take that shot when you have a good one. These shoes have been designed by this young man, and so he employs how many? Continue just showing those shoes. How many young men have you employed?
At the moment, I'm working with 17 young people.
So he has employed 17 young people.
Yes.
Employing 17 people is not a small feat. And so, and that's the reason why I needed him here, so that we are talking about real things, people who are creating jobs, and how not only the politicking, but you know, some of the things that are happening, the politicking and the taxation is affecting. What's the name of your company?
It's called Take Care Outfitters.
Take Care Outfitters.
Yes.
Yes, so look out for that. Let's promote our own. Take Care Outfitters. Mona kiatu njumu fiti.
Yes.
It's Teke.
Teke. It's Teke.
It's Teke.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sawa, that's
sure.
a good name.
Thank you.
I know what Fred is thinking about.
So,
Yeah.
what are some of the taxes that have been put in place
Yes.
that are making you now, you know, have, as compared to previous years,
Yeah.
have challenges in doing businesses?
Yes, you know, first of all, if you like, we look at the leather value addition chain, of which is my area, I will say that we'll start way from agriculture. You talk about the, you know, the animal skin, and if at all the cost of you know, production, the input goes high, which the government is contributing towards that, to mean that at the end of the day, that being the start, that's where I'll be affected from that point.
From the point of getting the leather from the farmer.
Yeah, from the farmer, because right now you've seen that the agricultural input, the animal feeds, the tax is going high, and if the tax is going high, that means there will be an issue around that production area. And going now, you know, the chain is going on. And now when it comes to me and getting that leather from the tannery guy out there, that means the leather will go high, because the cost of production in agriculture is high, the cost of production. So that means I will be required to, you know, to give in more money, so that I can get that leather. And you know, that leather is one of the very essential when it comes to production. Like right now, if I look at all the items that I buy, the raw materials, the major item here comes, it's leather. And when the leather is high, then that means I won't be able to go about my production works.
Yeah. And the cost of shoe becomes...
Yeah, will go high, definitely, yes. And that, and you know, that and so many other things that I've seen the finance bill. You know, they say they're not going to change they're not really going to increase so many things. But even the you know, the 2024 finance bill, it was not. Still, it wasn't that fair, even after they did those
the adjustments and all that.
Yeah.
So it affected you. Wasonga,
Yes.
You're both a businessman and a politician.
Sure.
And Wasonga is anatoka huku vi Simba zinatembea free. Rongai.
Yes.
And he's vying on the same. So Wasonga, when you look at the talks, the constant talks from politicians calling one another, it obviously affects the business environment, because now people are not very sure of the stability of the state. Am I right? Or
Thank you, Fred, for having me, at least this morning. One thing I will say that in a country like Kenya, whereby we've not had so many ethnic conflicts,
Yes.
or we have so many serious rebel groups. I'm talking like the country of like Congo, whereby you see what is happening between the government and the M23. Our main challenge as a country is the political temperature and the political environment.
That's the biggest problem we have.
Yes, because in Kenya we've never had that serious ethnic classes or some unwanted group regrouping to fight the government also. And I will say that the political stability of a country like Kenya will determine the business environment and the economic environment of the country.
Yeah.
You know, when we don't stabilize our political environment, generally our economy will not do well, including businesses, because everybody will be like worried. As you see, the problem we have in Kenya is that we start politics immediately after election. Every day we do politics. Like today, if you come to Kenya today, you might wonder, if you listen to both the opposition and the government, the talks in the rallies, everywhere they are doing, someone might wonder that we are going into election maybe in August this year. And then you tell someone that the election in 2027, then you'll be worrying, my. 2027, so you still have 2 years. So I don't know whether our politicians are so idle, or they just lack what to do, or is it that they just like to, they can't just to settle and focus on the development of the country apart from doing politics. Because for the business, my brother here will tell you that if the political temperature is high, it will affect the business. Because you don't know what will happen next. We've seen what happened during the political rallies and everything. This also even will scare, not alone even the local investors like Collins and myself and others, even other investors that might come and invest in the country will be scared because they don't know what is happening. So I think as politicians, me being one of them, we should be disciplined enough and love our country and learn that after election, we need to take a rest, allow the country economy to grow before we start doing our things.
Have you felt protected by the politicians? Like your member of parliament, where you've set up your company. Do you feel like members of parliament understand what needs to be done to protect that business environment so that you can thrive, and by thriving, then you can be able to provide sufficient taxes without killing your business?
Sure. When I look at the members of parliament, and particularly where I come from, I don't have much confidence in him. And the reason would be because so what happened last year, many of them did vote the finance bill, not because of the interests of the common monarchy, but they did that just because maybe of the political party, or maybe, the ruling party, which we all know. And because of that, I saw that something that can look at just a statement, and you understand that if at all this what is outlined in the finance bill, it's going to affect even my mom, even that members of parliament mother, who is doing agriculture back there. But we've seen they disregard that, and at the end of the day, they vote at the interest of the ruling party and the maybe political party, and that's very disappointing. You see. Because at the end of the day, maybe, I don't know what happens behind there. But you see, that I don't believe that is leadership. That's not a decisive leader. Because if you just don't care about your people out there, but care about
when you guys interact with the business community, because you're both, I know you're strictly a business person, leadership. He's a business person and a politician. So when you interact with the business community in this country and you look at the taxation, we're looking at the tax. This year's budget, the 2025-2026 budget, is 4.23 trillion. And we have a deficit of 190.35 billion. Now, obviously, we are still the ones who are going to be expected to cover the deficit. Whether the money is going to be borrowed or not, what will happen is they will borrow and will still pay.
Sure.
So what do you get from them?
I think first I want to tell my brother here that it is time, as even the business community, to take interest on politicians and who occupies which political seats. Because if now they just sit back and relax and say that I'm not interested in politics, you don't have to be a political player to be interested in politics, but you should understand that even as a businessman, as a young entrepreneur, you should understand that whoever is elected as a member of parliament or the governor of your area, now that we have devolved function, play a very critical role in your business, directly or indirectly. As such, you should be interested to know who represent you, because you know our parliament and our constitution have given so much power to the parliament.
Yes.
You realize even the taxes we are talking about, the Minister of Finance, the Finance Minister John Mbadi, cannot just wake up today and increase taxes without the taxes going through Parliament.
Yes.
Even the President cannot just wake up today and do something without passing through the Parliament. Yesterday, I saw the Interior CS and the IG in Senate being greeted by senators over the death of that young man. This can tell you that how important these two houses are to the growth of the country. If we allow people who does not respect, who does not even know the interest of the people to represent in such houses, then we are facing a bigger problem that we might not solve anytime soon. If you listen to some of the MPs sitting in that parliament speak, then you can ask yourself, then how did these guys manage to find themselves in these houses?
Yeah.
During the last finance bill that we saw, many people died. An MP come back to parliament and say that they were bribed 2 million. Now, you listen to yourself and say that I elected you to go and represent a whole constituency with over 100,000 people in it.
Yes.
Then, because of your own selfish interest,
Yeah.
you've been caught somewhere in State House, given 2 million to pass something that you know will punish the same people that elected you.
Yes.
That will tell the political class and our young guys that electing a member of parliament should not be just because of handouts, because of political parties, because of tribe. And I've said it here again and again in this show that when we are going to elect, let us focus on the merit of this person, that even if they go there, they can represent our interest. You talk about the deficit. Two things, the most things that is going to happen, and we've known this government. President William Ruto will not try to overtax the already tired, overtaxed Kenyans.
Yes.
The next thing he will do is just to go and borrow loans, which again will still be a burden to Kenyans.
Yes.
Sure.
This has given a situation whereby our leaders, both MPs, the governors, and the government, have not come down and come up with a policy that will give a very good working environment, even for the business to thrive. As it is now, Fred, I will tell you that if you increase taxes, it doesn't mean that you'll collect more. In the actual sense, you'll even collect less.
Yes.
Because by the end of the day, majority will not pay because the tax is out of their reach.
Sure.
But if you make taxes more reasonable and you create a very good environment, the taxes become less. There is a chance that everybody will pay.
Do you think people have been taxed?
Let me give you an example
Yes.
before Collins come in.
Yeah.
You said that you love to give a real life example.
Yes.
I want to give you a very real life example. The border industry. In this country, let us not lie to ourselves that the border industry is the biggest employer.
True.
He has employed so many youths. How many border guys, border riders, do you think pay taxes? And how much do you think the border industry, the amount that the border industry generate on a daily basis, can, if that money can, there is something that can be done towards the growth of a country, and they start paying taxes, we will not even need. I'm just giving you an example of a boda industry.
Yes.
This is a very big industry that has employed so many youths. But majority of them, I can say that almost 90% of the boda riders don't even pay taxes.
Yes.
Either because they've decided not to pay,
Yes.
or they don't have confidence in the government, or the government has done little to convince them to pay taxes,
Yes.
or just the taxes is just out of reach.
Yes.
Someone is earning 1,000 and you want him to pay 300, and he has a family, he will not.
Yes.
Okay? So the government and our elected leaders should come up with a policy to ensure that they open the tax net, not by increasing taxes. If possible, let them even lower taxes, so that the majority can pay the taxes. I'm in Rongai, just
Yes.
an example.
Yes.
In Rongai, the business permit, iya kanjo. Sometimes back, people were paying 5,000
Yes.
per year. Then, I don't know what happened, the county government decided to increase it to 8,000. I was talking to one of my friends. Now that they've increased it to 8,000, they're even collecting less.
Oh, they're now collecting
Yes,
less.
because
People
the
are not
majority
paying.
of soap owners, these small business people cannot pay the 8,000. So I was thinking, if instead of increasing it, if you had even decided to make it 4,000, if all these people who are not paying could have seen it so much possible to pay the 4,000,
Yes.
and instead we could have collected a lot of revenue. It is just, there are some things that I don't think you need to go to school to learn, but you can just use a common sense and know.
Yes.
Fred, if you increase these taxes as the government is doing, we are talking of a 100 billion deficit. The president will now come, you see what is happening with the SHA. The other time I hear the president saying that the SHA now will be paid on alipa mdogo mdogo.
Yes.
You can pay it per week and everything. Even if I do it today like on camera, you will see that there is not even that, even the monthly option is not,
It
it's no
doesn't
longer
have the
there.
monthly.
Now you have to pay it, the annual premium.
Now, if you pay annual premium, it becomes more expensive, doesn't it?
No,
because you're paying a lump sum.
Yes, it's become more expensive to a low earner.
Yes.
Yes, that person earning a little, it's become more expensive. But even if this thing, the government could say that for your medical health, you can even pay 10 bob per day. Someone will, there is something that we see. Let me give you an example with the Lipa Mdogo Mdogo phones.
Yes.
Now that they are in the market. and give you this concept. If you calculate the amount someone is paying for the Lipa Mdogo Mdogo mobile phones, Alan knows it. For the Lipa Mdogo Mdogo phones, you'll realize that if the market price of a phone is 15,000, and you take that phone on a Lipa Mdogo Mdogo, pay a deposit, Alan is telling me the deposit is around 3,000, and you pay, let's say, 70 bob per day for the next 365 days.
Yes.
Trust me, by the end of you paying for the phone for a year, you'd have paid more than twice the actual price of that phone.
Yes.
But you will not notice, because you'll see like 50 bob per day is
You won't feel it.
You won't feel it.
Yes.
You understand? You won't feel the pinch. But if you collecting the entire 15,000 and going to buy phone, then someone say, I cannot afford the 15,000.
Yes.
But in the actual sense, you've paid it more.
Yeah.
So sometimes if you make this thing more affordable to the people,
You actually collect
you
more.
are actually collecting more than if you make it so expensive.
Would that help the industry? If take for instance the taxes were lowered,
Yes.
would it help the industry, or the entrepreneur is the only one who's going to get into the pocket?
Yeah, of course, once you lower the taxes, the expected outcomes is that, you create a conducive environment for the businesses to thrive. And, the various ways, me as an entrepreneur, I'll have access to my raw materials at a very affordable price. At the same time, I will be in a position to pay my people. And not just that, my market out there will thrive. You see, because when I'm going out to sell my product out there, I won't be selling them at a higher cost.
Yes.
I'll be selling them at a very friendly cost.
Yes.
Because the cost of production is low. And that's what happens. If they lower these taxes, then you create a conducive environment for the businesses to thrive. And you have great outcomes out there. Yeah, sure.
And generally, Fred, just to add something, you know, with the now that Collins is a young manufacturer, if the taxes is high, the cost of production will automatically rise from producing the entire thing and making the shoe. In actual sense, the price of the shoe will be high. Now, let me give you an example. If today, Collins, my brother here, decided to sell a pair of shoes, let's say at 4,000, because of the nature and the entire production cost and to pay the workers.
Yes.
You'll realize that the 4,000, majority, wale hustlers, will not afford a 4,000 shoe. It will be for it will now, its target market will be for the people of like Fred and Alan and the group, the elite and the middle class.
Yes.
For him to get that market, you realize that even in a week, he can only manage to sell even 5 or 10 pair of shoes at most. But if the cost of production is low, and he decided to sell a pair of shoes at 1,000 bob,
Yes.
even that border rider that only make, let's say, 500 bob per day can easily afford a pair of shoes.
Yes.
Both the Fred and group will afford 1,000.
Yes.
And even that guy will also afford 1,000. So by the end of the day, instead of selling, let's say, 5 to 10 pairs a week, he will even end up selling between even 30 to 50 pairs a week.
Very true.
Meaning, even he will even employ more workers, creating more job opportunities.
Actually,
But
that's what I wanted to talk about.
But now that he will be having,
yes.
because of the taxes, now the income will be straining.
Yes.
Instead of even employing 17, he will now say that my wage bill is too high, I cannot afford to employ 17 guys. I have to reduce the number, let's say, to 10. So from that point, just by the government increasing the tax, even the young entrepreneur, like Collins here, cannot even create jobs for the jobless youths.
Yes. You're saying you want...
Actually, another point that I wanted to focus on is what I just talked about, and it's referring to opening up employment opportunities.
Yes.
You see, the reason why I ventured into this area is because I was taught and I grew up with an inspiration to, you know, do something about my community and the young people particularly.
Yes.
I realized how the issue of unemployment, you know, had become, you know, very, very bad in the community. And many young people out there, not employed, some of them going to the universities, they leave the universities and they don't have anywhere to work.
Yes.
Just another day I was watching in the news a hawker, a nurse who graduated just last year.
Yes.
Now he's hawking, he's selling foods.
A nurse.
Yeah, he's doing that. And this to tell you, that's one case, just one case. There are so many out there.
They're graduates.
Yes.
But they simply can't get a placement anywhere.
Sure. Even right now, I have people who are graduate. They are making shoes with me. They make shoes with me. Graduates.
Oh, really?
Yes. And the reason is because there are no employment opportunities. And idea actually was if I could do something.
If the low employment opportunities you're talking about.
Yes.
What is the cause? Is it the taxation or just this? The businessmen we have in the country are not they're not astute businessmen, so their businesses are not doing well.
Not really. As we've said, high taxation will lead to, you know, a poor, you know, business environment. Business are not thriving. That will mean there are no employment opportunities. And if that is the case, means so many young people, because young people, there are so many young people in Kenya, they contribute to the population of the nation. That means so many people are out there, young people, with no employment opportunities. Yes. And I was thinking, I'm a civil engineer, and at the time I was starting this thing, I was already working somewhere. But I thought of living beyond myself. And that way I had to quit where I was working. Because I understand that it's not just about yourself. You are, you know, you are earning, you are living a good life. You are, you know, was thinking about these young people, and I thought if I don't do something at this time, I probably never do it any time. So I went in and started this shoe manufacturing setup, and my burden is to bring in so many young people that I saw in the village out there. So many of them. And at the moment, I cannot be able to bring so many of them because of the higher taxation. Yes, it's not creating a good environment for my business to thrive.
Yes.
And if the government lowers the taxes, that automatically results to something.
It becomes a major boost for you.
Yeah, it will be a boost for me, and I'll be able to bring in so many young people. Expand even my workshop. Have a bigger workshop that I can accommodate so many young people, and that's as a result. If the taxes are going to to come low, yeah.
So, in your opinion, as CS Mbadi
Yes.
Reads the budget today, at a time when the country's environment is so hostile, what can he do, or what, in your opinion, should he do to help the country's very negatively charged air turn positive and create the enabling environment that Collins is talking about?
As a CS finance, and we believe that going by what the ODM party leader Raila Odinga said, that he donated his experts to the government.
Yes.
We believe Mbadi is one of the experts as far as finance is concerned.
Yes.
He could have advised the authority and the government that increasing taxes is not good for the nation at this time.
Yeah.
And he ought to have advised the country that let us lower tax. Okay? The 16% VAT should be even 16. He could even advise the president that let's make it even 14 or even 12%. So that as it is now, the only thing that can make Kenyans happy, people are frustrated as it is now because they don't have money in their pocket. So now the main focus for this government would be, how do Kenyans have money in their pocket? Let them be satisfied first. And once you are satisfied and you've eaten enough and you have your stomach is full, you have zero worries. but as the saying goes, an hungry man is a hungry man.
Yeah.
That is what is happening right now.
So people are angry because they are hungry.
Exactly, because how would you say, let's say, even as a man, you have a family, you have to take care of the family, but the moment you have 1,000 in your pocket, then you start getting stressed up because it doesn't even add up. Okay? Cannot even take you even 2 days. So I think as it is now, CS Mbadi could have advised the government and the president that increasing taxes today is not good. And again, as it is now, he could even advise the government to cut on the unnecessary cost, the unnecessary spending by the government, so that the government can now survive within its means. The amount that it could even focus that if, as a country, we can only raise, let's say, 3 trillion tax annual, or let's say 3.5.
Yes.
How can we have a budget of that?
So you live within your
means, so that we don't end up with having so many unnecessary spending. For instance, I don't understand why the president, at a country whereby many people are struggling to earn a living, but a president has over 20 advisors, each earning close to 1 million Kenyan shillings.
Yes.
Okay, and if you look at even their responsibility and their work is so much unnecessary. We are in a country whereby president will create imaginary post just for his own political gain. Okay? If you look at, do we need at this time of a country, we are fighting high taxes, business are really struggling to thrive, then do we need 58 PSS? No. We don't. So I think this is some of the things that the expert donated to the Kenya Kwanza government by the ODM could have actually advised the president and tell the president that we actually don't need this. But as things may, you've seen that despite the expert being donated, they even created other unnecessary posts to accommodate the like of Serita Pereno, who has been given a PS, and also to create some unimaginary advisors to accommodate the son of Oburu Odinga, which are unnecessary to Kenyans. Okay?
So
the Kenyans...
our problem is not lack of revenue.
Yes.
Our problem is our bad
Governance.
Spending habits.
Yes.
We are prodigal.
Sure. That is what is it. Because those who are given the opportunity and the responsibility to protect us have become so selfish and self-centered that they don't even think of the common mwananchi. If this my younger brother here, Collins, from the look of things, I think Collins, even if he's 30 or maybe 30, early 30s or maybe Jafika 30 years, if I'm not wrong, my brother. But now, instead of a government encouraging people like Collins to create more opportunity even for the young people, but the government is busy on trying to kufinyilia kabisa, let them don't even rise. As it is now, let us be factual, friend. Our young people graduate every year.
Every year.
A very good number. The government, truth be told, the government cannot create job opportunities for everybody coming out of the university. But the government can create an environment that can empower the majority. So that when someone like Collins create an opportunity, he will employ someone, this guy will stay with him for a certain given number of time, get out of there, go create another one, employ another 10. By the end of the day, we will already reduce the rate of unemployment.
Yes.
But if the government is bent on even trying to finyilia people like Collins not even to thrive, then by creating and rewarding political failures in this country, then I wonder sometimes what the kind of government we have. And that's why I'm always saying as a politician that the youth and my friend Collins, it's time that you take keen interest in policies of this nation and to become who, including the president. Because if we continue like this, then the problem is here to stay. It's just recycling again and again. Okay? Even if you look at the so-called experts, there is 9 months after the experts have been donated, there is zero or little change you can even pinpoint that they've bring to this government. Okay? Meaning that they didn't even go there to bring the change, but they just went into that government to satisfy and to massage their political ego. Okay? These are the people that have served this country for the better part of their life.
Yes.
They were not even able to bring any change that we can say. Look at someone like Governor Joho. This guy served as an MP, served as governor, now as a CS. What else? Do we need some kind of miracle? That is why we have a problem.
Your closing thoughts.
Yeah. So as we're saying that in Africa, I believe the future of Africa belongs to the young people. And it's about time the young people take the leadership positions. And they don't allow the other ones to,
teach them the bad habits.
Should not allow their future to be mortgaged and all that. And as we are discussing, I don't understand why we should not live within our means. We are going out there and, I don't understand if it's the issue of ambition or something, because why are we having this deficit? That's around 170 billion, that's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
And of course, if we are going to, the option is to borrow, that means there is a problem there. Because we've seen the issue of Africa right now is debt. And like what happened to Sri Lanka another day. We saw the port of Sri Lanka, the Chinese took the port. And what do you expect they are planning for Kenya? You see, and that's how the nations end up being sold. That's how nations end up being sold. And I'm hoping that there will come leaders who are compassionate, because at this point, don't need to allocate 2 billion to for renovation of State House at this time. We don't need 2 billion, and we are going to borrow so that we every year and every year we are having that an allocation towards the renovation of State House, and also the deputy president's, residence. So it doesn't make sense at this point. We should focus more on, creating conducive environment for the business to thrive, so that this revenue come automatically. You don't have to force it. And if we do that, then we are going to have an Africa whereby everyone will not have to go to the bed hungry, and everyone can, be proud that he comes from Africa. And yeah,
this beautiful distribution of resources.
Sure.
Unfortunately, Alice is screaming in my ear, telling me I am running past my time, and she's right. Remember, we are going to have another live show, Your Faith, today, immediately after this. So, Wesonga, your short closing comment.
A very short one. Instead of annual renovation of State House allocating 2 billion, 3 billion, I think 2 billion is a lot of money. What the president could just do is to demolish the entire thing and build a new State House once and for all that meets the standard they want, rather than allocating money every now and then. Finally, I want to say this, that 2 years from now, we will be going into election. And I want to appeal to the young generation that every time you are going to vote, you should know that that vote does not represent your tribe, does not represent your party, does not even represent you, but that vote determines the life you are going to live with your family for the next 5 years. If you are planning to get married between 2027 and 2032, you should know that within that 5 years, you must bring another life and a mouth to feed. So you must vote taking into account of all that. If you're going to vote with a family like Matthew, okay, you should also know that within this vote will determine how much I'm going to pay for my school, for my kids as their school fees. So let us put our self-interest first and elect leaders that are going to satisfy it and serve us, not voting for the sake of voting or because it's a voting day.
Beautifully said, gentlemen. I wish we would have been able to continue with this, but it's definitely time. Remember, today the budget is being read. We're going to have sessions where you'll have wise gentlemen like this one talking about different aspects of this budget. So you don't want to miss that. But it's very, very key. You are the one who makes the decision in your empire. You're still the one who makes the decision in the larger empire, because the president cannot be president without your vote. So we need to learn how to control our mouth during this time so that people don't talk trash and they end up affecting business, and in the process affect the ability to collect revenue to be able to do what we want to do as a people. So I'll leave you with that. Think about it. Tafakari haya. Think about it, and let's see what you and I can do to change this country. Still, good morning.